Do it. All right, Ramsey, thank you so much for doing those affirmations and just for being a champion. Let's go ahead and make sure all of you guys are on mute, please. Let me see here. Yeah, please put yourself on mute if you're not. All right, here we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and make it happen. It's Monday. It's another Monday. Super grateful. Last 2 weeks, you guys heard from some champions, David Perez and Ramsey Clark. So I'm back today. Okay, so you guys are going to have to put up with me for this particular week, but I promise I'll have other more interesting people as time goes on as well, other weeks. What I want to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen, is team building. Right. Currently, I'm ranked, if I'm not mistaken, last time I checked, #2 mentor for this year. I will finish as a #1 mentor for the year. And then last year, I was the #1 mentor in the company, and the #1 recruiter. A couple of things that I want to share with you when we, to set up this training. Okay, team building is my specialty. I build teams upwards of 120,000 people in the network marketing MLM world. That's my background. That's where I cut my teeth. I was also a real estate agent for a couple of years, so I was used to the high ticket sales. So when I saw Powur, it was an amazing combination of a high ticket sales with the team building aspect. So to me, it was like perfect, right? But a couple of things about team building is this. This year, my goal was to finish off as a #1 mentor and to finish off as a #1 recruiter. In my opinion, finishing off as a #1 recruiter, there's some pros and cons to it, right? And one of them is, I realized I was recruiting so many people, but I wasn't being a leader. So for your notes, here's what I would like you to start your notes with. There is the recruiter, and then there is a sponsor. There's a difference. A recruiter, it's kind of like sometimes people say it's a funny example, but there's the daddy, and then there's a father, right? So like, for example, I consider myself to my children a father. I didn't just birth them. I didn't just impregnate my wife, but I'm here to lead, guide, mentor my 2 boys to be strong, independent men, and to love God and to love others and to do good for others, right? So there's a difference between just giving birth, right? Just like, oh, this woman got pregnant and boom, that's it. No. It's a similar thing when it comes to team building. In team building, here's what happens very often. If I wanted to go for the #1 recruiter for the year, I'm going to have problems with recruiting so many people. And then I don't even remember who some of these people are. I never gave them the time of day. I didn't want to do that. So probably 3 or 4 months ago, I made a decision. I don't care to be the #1 recruiter for the year. That's only for my ego. What I care about is I'll rather quality over quantity. I'll rather recruit a couple folks, make sure that we get them up and running. I'm able to have the calls with them. I'm able to have the game plan interviews with them. I'm able to do all of these things with them. Once I get them up, and now don't get me wrong, I recruit every week. I recruit 2, 3 people every week, right? Very often I give recruits away. I've given away mentors. I've given away people that are 1 sale away from mentor. 2 weeks ago, I gave a real estate office away to somebody else, okay? I give recruits away all the time. Part of the reason why I do that is to be a good sponsor, but also if I know that I don't have the time to dedicate to that person and somebody else does, or maybe they know each other, or maybe they live closer and it's a better fit, I'll rather do that because I'd rather this person not be here for a couple of months and feel they got no support and eventually quit. If I place them on somebody else's team, then they're going to stick around and produce a lot more and everybody wins, right? So anyways, I'm going to talk about some of these things that are very, very important. So let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to jump into a couple of things. So how did I become the #1 mentor in the company? And how did I become the #1 mentor in the company 2 years in a row, right? Last year and then this year. Well, the reason why that happened is not because I'm an incredible salesperson. How did my team do 73 sales last week? Last week, we had 73 sales and 17 installations. How many of you guys think that's pretty decent? And by the way, if you're able to turn on your camera, please turn on your camera. I'm looking at you guys here on the screen. So if you're not able to, I appreciate that, Barry. If you're not able to, I get it, man. But if you are able to, I appreciate if you do it. 73 sales last week and 17 installs last week, right? Not a lot of people do that. Listen, there's solar companies that don't do that type of volume. Eventually, we'll be doing 1,000 sales a month and 2,000, 3,000 sales a month and 10,000 sales a month. I remember when I barely got started, I had no sales. It took me a little over 2 months to get my very first personal sale. Now, in a week, the team did 73 sales. The reason why that happened, ladies and gentlemen, is because of team building. So I'm going to do about a 40-minute team building training here. FYI, I'm going to be going into team building and recruiting for 3 hours at the Mentor Factory. I'm going to give you my scripts. I'm going to give you my overcoming objections. I'm going to give you my methods of recruiting. And not only recruiting, but also when you recruit people, what do you do with them? How do you launch them, right? So, and a lot of the tools that I have are already available to you guys, like the solarheroestraining.com, right? That's such an incredible tool that I feel a good amount of people are using it, but I think a lot of people still are underestimating the way that works. So let's go ahead and get into the team building. So here's the deal. The 4 freedoms, right? What are the 4 freedoms that we're going to experience? The first freedom is time freedom. The ability to build a big team. This is leverage. Write this down for your notes. This part is very important for you guys to write down. Okay, rich people, and you could read this in the book, Think and Grow Rich. Rich people, and Jessica, let's make sure that we let all the people in that are in the waiting room, please. Thank you. Rich people, okay, use OPM, other people's money, to make money. They use OPE, other people's efforts, other people's experience to make money, right? They use OPI, other people's ideas to make money, other people's investments. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, rich people use leverage to make money. Also, leverage brings time freedom. A team builds you leverage. Here's the thing, in Powur, it's very interesting. At the top echelon of the top salespeople, you've got the cooks and you've got the hunters. What are the cooks and what are the hunters? Let me tell you what the cooks and the hunters are. Let's say, for example, you've got a strong mentor with a strong team, and he's got mentors that came from other companies to sell solar for us. And this mentor assigns teams, assigns real estate offices to this other mentor who is a cook. This other mentor who's a cook can go out there and make $250,000, $300,000, $350,000 a year just closing 50-50 split sales. Thanks to the hunter. Who is the hunter? The hunter is a team builder. The hunter is a team builder that produces and provides and cultivates leads, which lead to sales. So you've got what somebody seems to be successful, which they are. They're making $250,000, $300,000, maybe $500,000, closing 50-50 split sales. But guess what they don't have? They don't have freedom because it's not their team. They're closing sales for some other team. And don't get me wrong, when you compare that to the traditional solar company, that is heaven. They're in sales heaven if they're getting fed these leads. Does that make sense? They're getting fed these leads, and a lot of times they're warm market leads. I got a guy, I became a mentor. I give him his first lead, right? He says, bro, thank you so much. This is a 16 kilowatt system that we're going to close. And the guy is a second exposure. I'm closing this deal. I said, hey, no problem. I don't mind giving these deals up because my whole thing is team freedom. I work 4 days a week. Tomorrow, by the way, I'm off. You will not find me tomorrow. You know what I will be doing tomorrow? I'm going to be at the gym and I'm going to be hanging out with my boys. I'm going to be training my son Maximus. I'm going to take him to school. I'm going to pick him up from school, take my wife to lunch. We're going to have a good time. It's a day. I work 4 days per week. How is it that somebody working 4 days per week is able to be the #1 mentor in these things? Not because I'm anything special. It's because I understood comp plan drives behavior, the team building aspect of this. And it's not only recruiting. Remember, there's a recruiter and the sponsor. It's about being a good recruiter and a better sponsor, creating the tools and the systems in place, the environment, this training, for example. How many of you guys are happy for these trainings on Monday mornings? Okay, great. Check this out. When I barely started, I asked my leadership, is there any trainings, weekly trainings on a regular? They said, no. Great, I'll start it. I started this month 1. Ask Anthony. He was here. Month 1, there was like probably 10, 15 people. Great. Then the Tuesday training, Jonathan Brown's Tuesday training came a couple of months after that. Now we've got Mondays and we've got Tuesdays to kick off the week, right? Very important trainings. So anyways, team building, if you want time freedom, you get that through leverage. Being a transactional salesperson is not, you may make some great money, but you don't develop that time freedom, right? What is another reason why we do it? Another reason why we do this is, see here, location freedom, right? So location freedom, you're able to do this from everywhere. I close deals from Texas. I've closed deals from Florida. I've closed deals from San Diego and Arizona when I'm on vacation with my family. Anthony's closed deals from Hawaii, right? There's people who have closed deals from the Philippines, from all over the place, right? Give me 1 second. Let me move this out the way. Okay. Financial freedom and also inner freedom. So most people would like financial freedom. Well, guess what? If you have the leverage, if you're making a 6-figure or a multiple 6-figure income because of this business, because of the sales that your team is doing, now you've got financial freedom and you've got time freedom and you've got location freedom. And I think all of that contributes to the inner freedom that we all seek. Right? So why build a team? Leverage income, passive income, unlimited leads. I literally have unlimited leads. When I started Powur, I was door knocking during the pandemic. I started late March 2020. What happened March 16, 2020? The lockdowns happened. Everybody, especially in California, everybody was afraid of their shadow. At a couple weeks after the lockdown started, I was visiting new homeowners, door knocking on new homeowners. Because I say, hey, if it's to be, it's up to me. Oh, I live in California. You better live in Texas or Florida where people aren't as afraid as they are in California. But I live in California. So guess what? And here's a little side note that I would give you, just a personal development side note. Identify what is it that must be done and eliminate the emotional side to it. If you want to be successful, too many people, they say, well, man, shit, this is what I've got to do. But look at all of these obstacles and look at how hard it's going to be, and they dwell on all that stuff. Well, listen, you dwelling on those things doesn't help you with achieving what you want to achieve. As a matter of fact, it hurts you. So if you know that that's what you've got to do and you've made a decision to do it, eliminate the emotional side. Write this down. It takes what it takes. It takes what it takes. My brother has very little sales experience. Notice they say he closed 8 sales in the last 7 days, and 4 were personal sales. 4 were mentor sales. Ask him when he became a mentor if I give him deals right away. I did not. I said, you've got to show me that you are ready to get mentor sales. I'm not giving you mentor sales till you show me. You know why? Because I'm not the type of brother that's going to help you, boom, win a contest. I'm not the type of brother that's going to help you, boom, get a bunch of sales when you don't deserve them. No, that's not what I'm going to do. You're going to earn it. Matter of fact, not only are you going to earn it, you're going to have to earn it more than the average person will, because you're my brother. People are expecting me to give you all kinds of free shit, and I'm not going to give you nothing. You're going to earn every bit of it. And I said, listen, you've got to go out there and be consistent and persistent. If you're going to knock on doors Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you better go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and go for the time that you say you're going to go. The rest of the days, do your follow-ups. But his thing is, he door knocks Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, like clockwork. I'm super proud of what he's done. By the way, you guys looking for a good mentor? That's a pretty damn good mentor right there, right? As well as a bunch of other mentors that we have. So unlimited leads. After I started door knocking, it took me 11 weeks to get to mentor, which, by the way, I have a training on exactly what I did to get to mentor. It's in the Solar Heroes Training Academy. I don't know if you guys noticed, I got a facelift thanks to Justin Santos. Shout out to Justin Santos. He did an amazing job with it. You could also go to teamfreedomtraining.net. That is a new link of the page, because our team is Team Freedom. Okay. So Team Freedom just hit 1,000 people. So congratulations to all of you guys on Team Freedom. The majority of the people on here, we just hit 1,000 people. Well, we hit 1,000 people over a month ago. I haven't even really announced it because we've been too busy building, right? But it took me 2.5 months to 11 weeks to be exact to get to mentor. So in 11 weeks, I got to mentor. Ever since I got to mentor, I never had to look for a lead ever again. So I want you guys to think about that. It's been a little bit over 2 years. I'm overwhelmed with leads. Literally overwhelmed with leads. You cannot get that on, and guess what? They're not paid. We don't pay for leads. Write this down. If you want to be a team builder and you want to follow this here, which I'm going to get into this at the Mentor Factory, recruiting should be the #1 answer to all of your problems in this business, especially if you're a mentor. If you think about this, if you're a mentor, recruiting should be the #1 answer to all of your problems. You don't have enough sales, great, go recruit some more people. Because guess what? Those people have to do 3 50-50 split sales. Go and recruit them, boom. Then when you recruit a solar pro, I recruit a solar pro out in Connecticut, Ben Green. He's out there in Connecticut, and when he's in Connecticut, he closed his first deal without my help. He just sees me send the solar closing documents. Okay? It's awesome when you become a mentor and you do that. So I could just, I want to close more sales. I can just make myself more available to my team. I can also just recruit more people, help them, put them to the training, help them get their first three leads, right? Put them in the system, help them get their first 3 sales, and we keep it moving, right? And guess what? They're not a mentor with 3 sales. So as they go out there and build a team, their people are going to assign you leads, and you're making $3,000-4,000 a sale. Listen, this has got to be, for me, in my opinion, the easiest business for you to make $250,000 per year if you really want to, and if you pay attention, and if you go out there and do, because it's not enough to just get on trainings and listen to what we're saying and then now you know what to do. Write this down. Write this down. Knowing and not doing is worse than not knowing. Knowing and not doing is worse than not knowing. There's a lot of people that will say, JC, I know I'm supposed to be at training. I know I'm supposed to be consistent. I know I'm supposed to be at Mentor Factory. I know, but they don't do it. Guess what? That's worse than not knowing. See, you don't got the results because you didn't do. The other guy doesn't have the results because he didn't even know. That doesn't make any sense, right? So I would encourage that. And then a solid income, right? I'm able to give mentor deals. I've had mentors on other teams that make a 6-figure, mark my word, listen to what I'm saying. I've had mentors on other teams that told me, JC, I made 6 figures with the leads your team gave me, bro. Thank you. On other teams. Now, granted, now I've got about 40 mentors on my team. I've got probably 20 frontline mentors and about 45 total mentors on my team, right? So now I got more mentors to give leads to, but from time to time, I give mentor deals to other teams. Not only that, my team, naturally, they might say, oh, I relate with this guy that's on a different team. They give them a deal. But I guarantee you, there's not another team that gives more mentor deals to outside mentors than my team does. 100% guarantee. Because we build strong people. Now, don't get me wrong. Our mentors get the bulk of those leads, right? But now you're able to give mentor leads to other people. Now, what happens if you got somebody that gets to mentor, you give them a lead, they close it, they make $3,000-4,000 on the deal. Are they happy? Are they grateful? Is that the same opportunity that they would have at another dealer? No. So why in the world would they go somewhere else? Now, Powur isn't perfect. No company is perfect. But when they start, I had a guy that was complaining about some things in the company. And I said, let's do this down the middle. And I knew he had got a couple of mentor sales. We put all of the mentor sales that he got, all of the positives and all of the negatives compared to the other company. And I said, well, now that we've put them side by side, do you still feel the way that you felt before we had this conversation about considering going somewhere else? He's like, no, now that you put it to me this way, it doesn't make sense. If I go over there, I've got no choice but to go out there, as you say, bake in the sun and D to D until the day I'm DEAD. That's what I say to people. You're going to go door to door, D to D, until the day you're dead. DEA, D to D until the day you're DEAD. And that's what by the way, that's one thing I tell people when I recruit them from other solar companies. I'm like, let me ask you this. Where is a light at the end of the tunnel where you're at right now? Where are you going to be in 18 months, 24 months, or even 10 years? Because I know guys have been door knocking for 7 to 10 years. They can't get off the doors. They hate it. They got no choice. Where are you going to be? Where's the light at the end of the tunnel? Because let me show you where the light at the end of the tunnel is. I've already got to that end of the tunnel, and this tunnel was long. I could keep going, and I'm getting a bunch of people here. I got people that close up to 5 sales per day. Just like 3 weeks ago, I closed 5 sales in a day. 3 weeks ago. And I've done it 3 times. I've done 5 sales in one day, 3 different times. And it's not because I'm anything special, it's because of team building. Now, how do we have people on our team closing 5 sales a day? David Perez did it. Lewis did it. Lewis Perez did it. I've done it 3 times. They've done it a few times. How's that possible? I got to tell you, man, it's through team building. And the leads are free. Now, here's another thing about team building. It gives you a solid income. It gives you security. I've got 1,000 people on my team. If 5 hitters leave, I don't even feel it. I don't feel it. It creates sustainability. I had somebody from another company tell me, yeah, JC, but your company has a lot of people, and this company, they do more sales than we do, but not that much more, and we have a lot less people. I said, sure, but you're only attracting full-time people. See, the bulk of the people that we have create sustainability. If I've got 1,000 people on my team, and 800 to 850 of those people only enter 1 lead every 2 months, that's 400 leads a month. If they only enter one lead every 4 months, that's still 200 leads per month. What does that do for my core people, for my mentors, for myself? It is a very solid business. There's security in numbers. I don't want a small team producing. I want a lot of people produce a little bit, because here's the deal. I don't want to just attract the solar pro. I want to attract the stay-at-home mom that's okay with doing 2 to 4 deals per year and make an extra $15,000 to $30,000 per year. And if year 2 or year 3, she decides to go full time because she's got more experience, she's got more confidence, et cetera, God bless her. If she doesn't, we have a home for her. The guy that wants to be full time, 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, we got an opportunity for you. The guy that wants to build a pack, I got people on my team also. They say, I don't want to sell solar. I just want to do 1 install every 6 months and get paid off the overheads. I get it. I like to do a combination of both, right? Personally, I like to do a combination of both. So let's keep it going. So here's a quote that I love. J. Paul Getty, first recorded billionaire in America, said, I'd rather make 1% off of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own efforts, right? That's pretty self-explanatory. Robert Kiyosaki says, rich people look for and build networks. Everyone else looks for work. You are building a solar network. You are building a renewable energy network here, and you are able to override that network. Okay, so let's talk about the power of 5. Let's say, for example, you go out there, you get 5 first-level recruits. Let's say these people are doing 3 sales per month. They're not knocking out of the park, but they're doing good, right? That's a total of 15 sales per month. At an average first-level override of $600, your override income on these particular sales would be $9,000 with 5. There's a key number, with 5 key people. Okay, if those 5 did the same thing, hypothetically speaking, that'd be 25 sales on level 2. Okay, that'd be 75 sales total. You would be at an additional $22,000 on level 2. That is $31,500 per month in passive income. How many of you guys think that's pretty good income? Type a one in the chat if you think that that'd be pretty awesome to make without having to work, by the way. You could go, let's say you got that schedule. The company says, hey, listen, in order for you to get this, you need 5 recruits, right? And 1 install every 6 months, right? There's people that are on this call right now making that kind of income. It doesn't take a whole lot. Now, what if it takes you 5 years to get here? That's a long time, man. That's a long time. In power years, that's a long time. What if it took you 5 years to get your 5 core who got their 5 core? What do I mean by core? Here's how you build a massive organization. First and foremost, you've got to become core. Again, I'm going to get into this in deep. I'm going to take off the gloves. I'm going to do a straight up network marketing training at the Mentor Factory. What I love to do, I'm going to rip for 3 hours on Saturday and another 3 hours on Sunday. I'm going to be nonstop, minimum of 6 hours that weekend. Somebody's off of mute. Please put yourself on mute. So check this out. Here's what we've got. Let me make sure I mute off. Hold on. All right, so here's what we got. Let's talk about it. You've got to become core, right? And when you become core, hold on 1 second. Reed Bonham, you got to mute yourself, bro. All right, here we go. So you've got to become core. If you become core, right? If you become core, only then will you attract and develop core. You want to write that down. You've got to become core. What is somebody that becomes core, ladies and gentlemen? What is somebody that becomes core? By the way, the tickets to the Mentor Factory are there, and we're almost sold out, FYI. Okay? Somebody who is constantly selling, recruiting, and training, and this is a 3-year run, and they don't necessarily have to be full-time. Okay, but it's somebody that's basically, you want a good example of becoming core, look at my training on the 8-point system. Go and generate 8 points every single day, 5 days a week. You want to know how to become core? The training already exists. That's why you don't want to miss a training, because you never know, one training will make the other training make more sense. You want to become core, follow the 8-point system, generate 8 points daily. You are core. So you become core, you get 5 people on your front line, 5 people that you brought on board that are core. That's not easy to do. It's not going to happen overnight. And here's the deal, though. It could be you brought a dud, who brought a dud, who brought a stud. That's one of your core. That is your first level core. Ideally, you want to keep your core frontline. You become core, only then will you be able to get core and develop core. Now, you may get lucky and be a dud and have somebody on your team that's a stud. I wouldn't risk it. Become core is the easiest way to do it. Your 5 will get their 5 core, which is a total of 25 people on level 2 that are core. With this team of 30 people, you can become a millionaire in this business. With 30 core, I only really talk to about 30 people in my organization. I mainly talk to my core that I know are my core. Here's some of my core, and I've got more than this. These are the ones I put this together this morning, this particular slide. Luis Perez's core. Luis Perez is top 7 mentor in the whole company all year long. I personally brought Luis Perez. David Perez's core. He's a number 3 mentor for the company all year long. Last month, Luis Perez was number 1 for last month. David Perez was number 2 mentor in the company, and I was number 3. That's a pretty damn good lineup. Can we agree? I wouldn't be able to attract these guys if I was a dud. If I'm a dud, I'm not going to attract a stud. Studs don't want to work with duds. Studs want to work with studs. Here's one thing that you want to write down in team building. Write this down. This is super important. One of the most key things. Mediocre-minded people. Here's what mediocre-minded people do. Mediocre-minded people don't want to share their goals with other people. They said this happened to me recently. It's funny. I had a guy in my organization that tells me he had more degrees than a thermostat. Okay, this guy had more certifications than you can imagine. He says, JC, I'm a certified life coach. I'm a certified this coach. I'm a certified health coach. 50 pounds overweight, certified health coach, by the way. I'm a certified this, certified that. He's got all these certifications. I said, that's awesome. Congratulations, man. And he says, do you have any certifications? I said, I have a PhD in results. That's what I got. I'm poor, hungry, and determined. Illegal immigrant from Mexico. When I was 18, I didn't have a social security number. I couldn't get a job. But I retired my mom at the age of 28, excuse me. At the age of 28, I retired my mom, became a millionaire at the age of 30. I don't have no degrees, man. I do have an MBA, though, a massive bank account. You know what I'm saying? The point is, here's the deal. Here's what this guy says. I got this. Then he confides in me that doesn't have enough money, that he doesn't have no money, that he's broke. But I'm going to make it happen. I said, well, no problem, Chad. I'll help you. I helped him close his first deal. We closed it. It's on the way to install. So check this out. I'm doing a meeting, one of the Monday meetings, which, by the way, starts in a few minutes, right? What time is it, by the way? Let me check. Okay, good. I got it. Okay, we got enough time. So here's the deal. By the way, for those of you guys that are local, I'm looking forward to seeing you at the meeting at 11 a.m. All right? So check this out. I say, we're going to go through goals. What's everybody's goal today? He's the first one I call on. He said, oh, I'm more of a keep my goals to myself kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather do versus say. I said, well, let me show you how to be a champion. Michael Jordan had goals, and he told them out loud. Kobe Bryant had goals, and he told them out loud. All of the greats had goals and told them out loud. And I'm thinking, this is a dude with no results. More degrees than a thermostat, but no results. And he's trying to tell me that here's what a champion does. They declare what they're going to do. They know, they identify what they're going to accomplish. They tell the world about it. Then they go figure it out. They identify, here's what I'm going to do. I said when I was a rookie, before I had even sold one solar deal, I'm going to be the number 1 mentor in this company. Y'all mark my words. All of you guys are fighting for number 2. I had never sold. I didn't even know what an inverter was. But I said, I'm going to follow this philosophy. I'm going to tell the world. I'm going to identify. I'm going to tell the world. Then I'm going to go figure how am I going to do this? I'm going to go sell and recruit. I'm going to outsell. I'm going to recruit everybody. And the way I'm going to outsell everybody is I'm going to out team build everybody. Is this starting to make sense? Then I'm going to become core. I'm going to get my 5 core that'll, if they're core, they will eventually find their 5 that are core. And with a team of 30 core people, you won't get there until you become core. That's one of the things I tell people about team building. You will attract what you are. not what you want. It's like in life. We don't get what we want. We get what we deserve, right? That's why I hate it when on social media, people say, you guys ever see, and listen, I'm a God-fearing man, and I'm all about that stuff. But when people say, God is waiting to put a miracle, a breakthrough in your life, declare it. That's bullshit. God is not going to put a miracle in your life if you don't go out there and earn it. God is going to bless you with money, declare it. No, that's bullshit. God is not going to bless you with anything if you don't go out there and earn it. You got to sow and you've got to reap. And the same thing is with this business. Nobody's going to magically fall off the sky and give you some business. You've got to go out there and you've got to earn it, right? It's called sowing and reaping. So let's keep it moving, okay? Here's some honorable mentions that I mentioned, by the way. Luis Perez, David Perez, Anthony Bonilla, Luis Rangel, Ramsey Clark, Javier Rodriguez, and Federico. These are some of my core people, and I've got more than that. And guess what? Every single one of these is on a different leg of business. None of them are under each other. I preach what I tell you. By the way, those people that you're seeing there, the first three, they're top mentors in the company, top 10 that I personally brought on board. I'm not trying to say that to brag. I'm saying because when I mention that I'm going to train at the Mentor Factory on this subject, I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's keep it moving. Okay, so here's the power of one more. Let's say you go out there and get three, that get three, right? 6 levels deep, you got 1,092 people. But what if you do one more and you duplicate the one more philosophy? Same effort, but instead of 3, everybody did 4. You're at $3,400. If all these people, 10% of these people, if 10% of these people did 1 sale per month, what will your overrides be? $59,000, $60,000 in commissions. If they just went out there, 10% of them did a sell a month. You're at 60 grand a month. How do you like them apples? Here's the deal. Too many people are trying to figure out how to make ends meet because they don't have the right philosophies. That is a first wrong philosophy. You're trying to make ends meet. Guess what? Let me break it to you. Ends don't meet. That's why they're called ends. You're never going to make ends meet. So you got to go out there and change your philosophy so you got to get some different results. So there's 3 rules to building. Exposure is everything. The fortune is in the follow-up, and you got to work with the willing. You got to do a lot of exposures. You got to get out there. You got to shake more hands virtually and physically. Go to networking events. Who are your power players? Real estate agents? There's a bunch of real estate agent networking groups, right? You got to get out there. You got to get after it on social media. You should be adding 5 to 10 power players on social media. Interact with these people. Exposure is everything. And guess what? Let's say you're brand new. But JC, I got no sales. No problem. There's a bunch of people in power that are dedicated, that are promoting their sales. You go out there, promote their sales. You ask them, hey, is it okay if I share your sale? Won't say that it's mine. I'll say that it's the company's sales. That okay? Yes. You go out there and share. Somebody's got an install. Boom. Another person getting installed with solar. Boom. Here we go. Exposure, exposing other people to your business is important. You getting out there and exposing yourself that this is what you do, that this is your chosen career path. Exposure is everything. You got to expose people to what you do, and to you got to follow up on. And by the way, exposure isn't just exposing yourself and letting people know what you do. Like literally telling people, hey, I see that you're a real estate, for example, it's a realtor. I see that you're a real estate agent. Okay. By the way, do you currently work with a solar professional? Just get the ball rolling. Some of them will say yes. Some of them will say no. Some will say not interested. Those that are interested, you put them in another bracket, and guess what? The fortune is in the proper follow-up. And then number 3, you work with the willing. There's a bunch of people that are going to give you lip service in team building. You've got to know the 80-20 rule. What is the 80-20 rule? The 80-20 rule is this: 80% of people will do 20% of the production. 80% will do 20%. Therefore, my time is designed accordingly. 80% of my time goes to those 20%ers that are doing the 80%. Does that make sense, team? I dedicate my time. Oh, you're producing. You're showing up. There's people that want my time. They never show up to no doggone training. You're not going to get me to call you back or text you back as fast as somebody else is. Here's the thing, on team building, you have to work with those that deserve your time, not those that need your time, because those that need your time were never on the training to begin with. They're lost. They're asking basic questions where it's like, bro, that's covered in training. You're asking me something you should have known a month ago, 2 months ago, 6 months ago. No. So the 80-20 rule is very, very important that you guys understand that. All right, let's keep it moving. To build a massive organization, you've got to stay in first gear. First gear. That means recruiting and selling. That's first gear. It doesn't matter what order, selling and recruiting, selling. To me, it doesn't really matter. To me, recruiting and selling, it weighs about the same. Granted, we only get paid for selling, and you got to do one install every 6 months. You got to have one install to qualify for your overage, right? Gear one is recruiting and selling. Gear two, that's when you're managing your organization. And I should add another one. Gear one is selling, recruiting, and training. Selling, recruiting, and training, but especially selling and recruiting. Gear two, that's why I tell people, first gear. How many of you guys ever drove a stick shift car? Stick shift car, raise your hand. You ever drove? Okay, imagine if the clutch is broken. You can't get out of first gear. You got to stay. This is super important that you guys get this part. This is why our team is doing what it's doing. Because it's not just me. You got champions like David Press. He doesn't stop recruiting and selling and training. I have 2 assistants. I used to have one, Judas, right? Judas doesn't work with me anymore, but I have Jessica and I have Monica. They are great at what they do with project management. They're a lot more organized than me, and they're a lot nicer than me. They're a lot sweeter than me, and they're a lot prettier than me, right? They are much better at what I do. The next one, right, that beat me having Monica and Jessica to help me with my project management and my assistants needs, right? Guess what? It allows me to do what I know that I'm best at, which is what? Recruiting and selling and training. Recruit, sell, train. Recruit, sell, train. That's my motto. Recruit, sell, train. But guess what? Some people, unfortunately, they get to the point where they're making money. Let's say, for example, your expenses are $7,000 a month, and you get to 10 grand a month consistently. You got an extra 3 grand to play with. Why don't you invest that 3 grand into hiring some help, man? Invest back into your business. Another thing about a team building is this: you've got to invest in your business. You got to go to the national convention. There's 2 events you got to go to at the end of the year, throughout the year: the national convention and the Mentor Factory. In my opinion, the Mentor Factory, this is going to be controversial. It's more important. Why? Because it's all training for 8 hours, 2 days a week. All training. There's no special announcements. I can get the special announcement in the newsletter. I want to get trained. If I had to pick where to invest my time and my money into out of those 2 events, personally, I'd pick that. That's my opinion, right? Second gear is when you're a manager. Now you're managing your organization. And this is the beginning of the death of your business. Third gear is your supervisor. Your organization is dead. You've duplicated other managers. Now you went from selling and recruiting to like, hey, what do you guys got going on? You selling? Hey, what about you, Bob? You selling? What about you, Ramsey? You selling? You recruiting anybody? What do you got going on? You got nothing going on. Okay? I'm recruiting every week and I'm selling every week. A week doesn't go by that I don't recruit or sell people. Because I'm just in this momentum now. I've got all these leads to follow up on. It's hard not to sell. Here's a little tip. There's inviting to recruit or recruit to invite. There's people that are going to have guests tonight that make it to the meeting that do not make it to the 5 o'clock meeting, 8 o'clock Eastern, the Powur Hour, and they're not going to invite them until next week. That's inviting to recruit. That is a bad philosophy. You want to recruit to invite. Let's say they missed today at 5. You get them to watch a pre-recorded. You get them to watch a pre-recorded presentation. By the way, let's see what time it is. You get them to watch a pre-recorded presentation. That way you could recruit them. In the meantime, you can recruit some people for that person. So next Monday, they're not showing up for them to get, trained or see the business. They're already in the business and they're bringing some of their people to the Monday training, right? And if you do it right, you recruit that person now. They recruit a couple folks now. He's got 3 people on his team, 4 total, and they have 2 guests each. They got 8 guests on Monday next week. There's a big difference. I'm going to dive into this in detail out in the Mentor Factory. Couple of things for team building. I do PS3 all the time, right? What do I mean? Peak interest, show the plan, 3-way call. I pique somebody's interest. Hey, by the way, Johnny, have you ever considered the solar industry? Hey, by the way, John, I know that you're a real estate agent. Have you partnered up with a solar company yet? Some of the agents that work with us, man, they make an extra $4,000 to $12,000 per month. So they're just referring, 2-3 other clients to us. If you're open to that, I'd love to send you some information. How many of you guys can say that? I'm piquing the interest. By the way, there's a 3-minute video The solar gold rush. I've recruited a bunch of people with that video already. It's a 3-minute video to pique their interest on solar. Doesn't mention anything about power. I recommend that you get people to watch that video. That's how you pique the interest. Now, once you pique the interest, get them to see the plan, get them to see the full overview. And if they have questions afterwards, get them on a 3-way call with a leadership expert, right? This is a very simple way for you to go out there and recruit some people. So to close off, there's three of the big income streams: personal sales, mentor sales. Personal sales is active income. Mentor sales is active and passive income. And then you've got team overrides. Team overrides, notice how it starts slow. In the beginning, you make less money from team overrides than you do from mentor sales and personal sales. But as you keep building a business, the way that we're talking about here today, the way I'm going to train at the Mentor Factory, your team overrides will eventually, you cannot catch up. You cannot close enough mentor deals to catch up to your team overrides. But that takes time. That's why I say it's a 3 to 5 year plan, right? 3 to 7 year plan. So tier 1, consultant, right? Consultant, tier 1 or tier 2, right? Most important role. They sell and refer people, okay? And recruit people as well. The next tier is tier 3, which is the mentor. That's where you train and you coach others and whatnot, right? And then support leader. This is like where Charles Thompson is at right now. This is where I'm getting to, where Jonathan is getting to very, and frankly, we could get there already. We could be there now if we want. Okay? So to close off, remember this: your team will do 100% of what you do wrong, and they will do 50% of what you do right. Your team will do 100% of what you do wrong. You don't want to show up to the convention, they won't show up. You don't want to show up to trainings, they won't show up. I guarantee it, man. They'll do at best 50% of what you do right. Everyone has an expiration date. Everyone that you sign up has an expiration date. Pretend they have an expiration date on their forehead. Okay? But if you get them a check, if you get them paid, if you get them to an event, if you get them to the convention, if you get them to a training, this extends their expiration date. So your job as a team builder is to extend expiration dates, There's some people that got on this training today that were thinking of quitting tomorrow, and they're going to give it another month. I extended an expiration date for 30 days. A lot can happen in 30 days. You get people to the Mentor Factory, you're going to extend their expiration dates for at least 6 months. A team builder understands this. It isn't. Some of you guys are thinking too small. You're thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to try to make it to the Mentor Factory. You already have a weak mindset. No. It isn't about you making it to the Mentor Factory. It's about you making it to the Mentor Factory with as many people from your team as possible. You want to champion up, you go out there and you buy. There's some people that have 5 people on their team. They just closed their first deal, $7,000, right? Let's say they earn $4,000 to $7,000. Go out there and buy those people the tickets, get them there, see what happens to your business next year because of that investment that you made. But too many people still have an employee mindset, but they want to get paid like a big enterprise. You ain't going to get paid like a big enterprise with an employee mindset. You want more time and money, invest more time and money, okay? The 2 most important events we talked about: Mentor Factory, Power Convention. This is your multi-million-dollar business that should have cost you $50,000 to start with Power. That's what I believe it should cost, 50 grand. 50 grand. If it costs you 50 grand, which is certainly worth it, you'd be at Mentor Factory. Solarmentorfactory.com. You'd be at Mentor Factory and you'd be at the convention. If you pay 50 grand, to you take it a lot more serious. But people seem to think there's an $85 per month business. Sorry, guys. That's why people with that mentality rarely have big success. Anyways, that's it. I'm done. I got to get to the office and do this meeting out there. Have a good day, guys.